I love this thing. Quite honestly, because its one and only mission in life is to help me have fun. It provides one of the best behind-the-scenes jobs in sports. It made one family name a legend and became a Canadian icon.
I was living the Canadian dream. I got to work at the beer store and drive a Zamboni at night.
But you're never going to believe where this Canadian icon was born. Ice is smooth, skates are sharp. That's the arrangement that allows us to skate. However, when you scrape something smooth with something sharp, it ain't smooth anymore. That's why you need one of these. It's an ice resurfacer. And if you're a skater, it's your best friend.
Guys, let's get ready, please. There's about 2 minutes to go.
Are we gonna get a flood?
Yep, they're coming on the ice right now.
Watching the ice resurfacer at work is kind of a quiet, meditative thing. As it does its laps around the rink, everybody stops what they're doing to watch. It's become a bit of a ritual that everyone at the rink can share. And for the drivers, it's 15 minutes of fame.
They just tend to watch a lot. It's kind of hypnotized by the whole thing, watching that Zamboni go around and around.
This is like a dream come true for me. I grew up watching these things on the ice when they were towed behind tractors.
Everybody loves a Zamboni. I've had people come to me and ask me for their grandfather's 60th birthday if they could come down and get them to sit on the Zamboni and take a picture of them.
It's like the ultimate Canadian job. I was thinking if the Leafs ever won the Cup, I'd go drive down Yonge Street, but I found out it's illegal because it doesn't have any turn signals on it.
And why wouldn't we love this big chunk of machinery? After all, everything it does is for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to help us have fun. Okay, here's how it works. First, a blade scrapes off a layer of ice. The ice shavings get dragged from the edges to the middle by a rotating auger. Then pushed into another auger that lifts the snow up and sprays it into a big bucket on top. Inside the conditioner, the ice gets washed clean, and then, finally, new water is sprayed up onto a plate at the back of the machine. And a towel smooths it out over the old ice, leaving it behind to freeze. That's where the magic begins. Because ice is like magic. At exactly 0 degrees, the molecules that have just been sort of moving around aimlessly line up to form crystals and bond with their neighbors. Howdy, neighbors. That's when water turns hard. The freezing works its way up from the ice below until it reaches the top. And that's when the games can begin. Now, if you want to skate well, and I mean really well, it's not enough for the ice to be hard. It's got to be smooth. In 1960, Robert Paul and Barbara Wagner skated to the gold medal at the Winter Olympics in Squaw Valley. It was also the first time most of the world had ever seen a new invention, the Zamboni Ice Resurfacer.
Well, the famous days before Zamboni, when it was hand cleaned, you had 3 guys with the snow shovels that we're very familiar with in Canada, side by side, and they would just skate around the rink and the snow would pile up and pile up.
Sometimes they just had shovels and a hose. Other times they used a barrel of hot water and a towel. Either way, it was hard physical labor and very time-consuming.
Well, the two problems was there was no scraping mechanism in that system, which the Zamboni has its own blade that levels the ice every session, whereas we would have hills and gullies, and they would only shave the ice with a special machine maybe once a month or less. Nowadays, they expect glass. Back in the old days, we just were happy to have ice.
Like me, you probably know this as a Zamboni, but it's really called an Ice Resurfacer, and it's become, well, darn it, it's become a bit of a Canadian icon. And like us, it may not be fast, it may not be fancy, but darn it, it is reliable and it likes to smooth things over. And I think that not only a few of us have felt a certain surge of patriotism when it takes to the ice between periods. Unfortunately, it was invented in California. The Ice Resurfacer was invented by Frank J. Zamboni Jr. He and his brothers ran an ice-making company in the 1930s.
In the mid-30s, artificial refrigeration was coming along, of refrigerators. Just my dad saw that on the horizon, and he kind of looked around and he said, let's build an ice skating rink.
Frank found that it took 3 or 4 guys an hour and a half to make a good sheet of ice, and it cost money to keep them around. So he started looking for a better way.
My dad never got past the 9th grade, but he just had a mind that would never satisfy. He could visualize things better than anybody I've ever run into, where he could just, well, I can see how this is. He couldn't draw worth a darn. He'd usually have somebody sketch something out, or he'd have a piece of welder's chalk and draw it on the floor. He swore up and down that he would have never finished even the Model A if people hadn't said he couldn't do it.
It took many years and several tries to get it right, but at last, in 1949, he did it. Frank J. Zamboni built the world's very first ice resurfacer.
Well, what we're looking at is the Zamboni Model A. It was the very first successful machine that Frank Zamboni got going. My dad would scrap and scrape and get whatever he could to make the thing work. In the machine, we've got a war surplus Jeep engine that he found and used it. Angles you've got here on the framework, they're out of a oil derrick. In the hydraulics here, it was from a landing gear of a Douglas aircraft. It does the job. It gets a little cranky at times. Okay, I've got the conditioner down on the ground. We're going to get along here. I better lift the blade a little bit more. It looks like we're doing some cutting already. Okay, we're going along and doing a little adjusting on the blade. I'm shaving on both sides now, and our auger's working, picking up the snow, and should be getting, before too long, some snow out the top. I need to get the towel down. Yeah, I think we'll put some water on. It made a beautiful sheet of ice.
As soon as people saw this incredible machine at work, they wanted one too. Sonia Henney ran an ice show in Chicago. Frank Zamboni built 2 for her, and word began to spread.
I know when my dad sold the first machine to Sonia Henney, Arthur Wirtz had the Chicago Stadium. It was being used there, and it didn't agree with Wirtz very much because he said when that thing's out there, people are staying there watching it rather than going to the concession stand. So he wasn't very happy about that.
Frank's little invention had turned into a big business. There are a few other manufacturers now making ice resurfacers, but most people still know them only as a Zamboni. And it's still a family business. Frank's son, Richard, runs the factory in California. The next generation brought the Zamboni to Canada. The Canadian branch of the Zamboni Company is located in Brantford, Ontario. Frank Zamboni's grandson, also named Frank, came to Canada in the 1970s to set it up.
When I was growing up, the name Zamboni didn't mean much in Southern California, but certainly it has a high recognition value here in Canada. This is our junior machine that we've restored. We produced this machine between 1965 and 1969, and it was made for small studio-sized rinks. Very tight turning radiuses, very small envelope that the machine is in. It turned out just to be a nice, cute little design. It's almost cartoonish in shape. We've also got a Model K machine. This machine also had the chain and paddle conveyor. People can see the snow coming off of the ice into the tank, and really a lot of people remember that from when they were kids.
In the Canadian plant, they make 3 different models. Each machine is actually assembled by hand and has to be ordered months in advance.
Okay, this is the engine that goes into the vehicle. We get the engines from Ford. They come in a semi-assembled form. We finish them off as you see them here. Along with the engine is the hydrostatic transmission and the pump that drives the augers through this mechanism here.
It's one of the few vehicles that still uses studded tires. It's the only way to get the traction they need on a sheet of ice. That motor and those tires have to provide enough power to pull the conditioner, the business end of the resurfacer, where the 6-foot-long, razor-sharp blade will be cutting into a sheet of solid ice. Strangely enough, it seems as though Brantford is the hockey capital of the world, and not just because it's simply the home of the Zamboni Company, but because, as most people know, it is also the birthplace of the legend Jimmy the Iceman McNeil.
Back in 1996, I was living the Canadian dream. I got to work at the beer store and drive a Zamboni at night. So, I mean, I was one of the luckiest guys. My friends were all jealous. What I'm gonna do, I like to put the machine down, let it scrape the ice so that we can see how much we're actually cutting off. Conditioners are on, another half spin down. I'll go full water because I've got lots of time to freeze the ice. And out goes the board brush. And we're off.
In 1999, the 50th anniversary of the Zamboni's invention, Jimmy McNeil was voted Zamboni Driver of the Year.
It was one of those things that just caught fire. It became a Canadian thing. His main rival happened to be the driver at the Detroit Red Wings, and got to be quite a competition between the two of them.
It just kind of took off. Every news channel across Canada had to do a story, and the Canadian public picked up the cause and helped me win this contest.
Soon, Jimmy was off on a cross-Canada journey to raise money for the 2002 Winter Olympics.
I took a 4-month leave of absence from my work here for the city of Brantford, and I drove a Zamboni across Canada. We had our moments. I ran out of gas in Gander, Newfoundland, so it was fun.
For an ice technician, driving the resurfacer is only one part of the job, and not even the biggest. Only 10 minutes an hour are actually spent driving. For the other 50 minutes, there's a lot of other business to take care of.
You wash down the augers so the snow doesn't freeze inside of them. I am filling the water up for the ice. We'll be flooding in about another half an hour. So this is just hot water that's going into the container right now. And as you can see, it's overflowing.
The ice technician has a lot of different jobs off the ice as well. Oftentimes, they're left responsible for the operation of the entire arena. Every week or so, they need to check the thickness of the ice sheet to see if any spots need to be shaved a little bit more. And when you've got a vehicle with propane tanks on it and a refrigeration plant to take care of, you gotta know what you're doing, or you can get yourself into trouble.
You can get ammonia leaks, brine leaks, belts can fly off the compressors, you can run out of oil exactly like a car. A lot of things can really happen that's dangerous.
Oh my God. Fire.
So it's not just a matter of driving. The Ice Resurfacer itself is just the visible part of this huge system, the tip of the iceberg. In Hamilton, a new arena is under construction. The pad for the ice rink is a big slab of concrete which has to be chilled to freeze the ice. So all these pipes run through the concrete, carrying brine that is chilled below the freezing point of water. Beneath that, though, there are actually heating pipes. Because if the ground under the concrete freezes, it will expand and the whole slab will start to crack. When the refrigeration system is ready to go, the new machines arrive at the arena. It's finally time for the concrete pad to get ready for its very first sheet of ice. To put down its first sheet of ice, this arena is using an innovative new process, the fast ice system.
Just so you know, the temperature today is 54 degrees. The surface temperature is 58.7. Now this is a cool toy. It doesn't tell you where the school of baths are though.
The ice is put down in thin layers. The finer the layers, the better the ice. Once the first layer is down, it's painted white so you can see a hockey puck more easily on it. A little more ice is laid on top. Then red and blue lines are painted in.
It's real simple. It's a water-based paint. It's no different than you're painting anything else.
Just like painting your wall at home.
Yep. I have a tendency to do this. Load the brush right up.
Okay.
Once, twice, there to there. And then you pull out the brush and you just do this. Just going back and forth like that.
This stuff's dried here, right?
As long as you're staying between those two lines, you'll be off to the races.
All right.
Ain't rocket science. Step right in.
So you're saying I should go here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You gonna take a break now?
No, I'm trying to get out of here.
It's pretty simple, really. You just paint over the ice and then add another inch of ice over it. It's just like being in kindergarten, except you have a really huge, really cold piece of paper. In Vancouver, an artist actually did use an ice rink as his canvas and a resurfacer as his paintbrush. Not all ice is the same. Different sports need different temperatures of ice.
For me, it depends. If it's too cold, the ice will be too hard. And so if it's too hard, you don't get grip. When I skate, I really get my blades digging into the ice. For me, I don't like, if it's too soft, I don't like it because your blades dig in so much that you can't turn them on the ice.
The Calgary Oval is home to the fastest ice in the world. 17 of the 30 world records were set here. For such a huge sheet of ice, they used the largest model of Ice Resurfacer in the world, one with a blade 8 feet wide.
The most interesting thing about the oval is the diversity that we have here. We try to make this particular sheet, the oval, as quick as possible. In other words, it has to be harder and with more grip than the other two. Our hockey rink, it's got more durability, so it will last longer. Doesn't snow up as much as the other rinks. And our short track rink definitely needs to be a softer surface so they can turn quicker.
Well, the ice at the Calgary Oval is phenomenal. It's the best ice in the world. When you're pivoting around the corner and you're going way faster than you've ever gone before, it's just amazing. It's so much fun.
Sarah came back specifically because she believes we have the best ice in the world, and we agree with her. Last lap, you guys. Okay, I'm done.
Ice skating is really a wonderful sport in all aspects of figure, speed skating, hockey. We're one small, important part. It's made our family very proud of the name and proud of what he started, and the company is proud to keep it going.
Frank Zamboni kept right on inventing. By the end of his life, he held almost 50 patents, including the Astro Zamboni, a giant machine used to roll out sheets of AstroTurf. Frank died in 1988. Well, it's been a little over half a century now since Frank Zamboni first got his machine working. Today, it continues to provide millions of us with one of life's great simple pleasures. A nice, smooth sheet of ice to play on.